The question for this episode is, what is the IAMCP?
I love when people speak in acronyms. It makes things sound so mysterious. But what does it actually stand for?
I know it's a mouthful. The IAMCP stands for the International Association of Microsoft Channel Partners, which you can find online at iamcp.org. And I know there's always a lot of confusion. People wonder, hey, this is a Microsoft team? No, it is not a Microsoft entity, but it's actually an association of Microsoft partners from around the world with a shared goal of supporting partner-to-partner business.
So it's a user group.
In some ways, it's like a user group. It functions like a user group. There are regional chapters that have regular meetings, monthly meetings, for example, with guest speakers, focused topics. Each chapter does things a little bit differently, but all of the content, all of the topics, all of the conversations are really important to Microsoft partners. But the primary goal is really to identify and support new partner-to-partner opportunities. Short story really quick. So I co-founded the Seattle chapter of IAMCP many years ago. I served as the president of the chapter for 3.5 years and then was on the board of directors until I left the state, and I'm now part of the Utah chapter. But I interact with members of IAMCP around the world every single month.
You know, one of the strengths of working within the Microsoft ecosystem is its massive global partner network, but finding the right partners to work with can be difficult, especially if you're regionally focused, but if you have a customer that aligns with global needs. So how is AvePoint involved with IAMCP?
Well, that's a great way because we work with a lot of smaller regional partners as well as global partners. So that's actually a very common scenario is you'll have somebody that is, let's say, based in the northeast of the US, and they have a customer that's across the US or even global, and they have a need. Obviously, as a partner, you don't want to have to say no to a customer because you can't scale to meet those needs, depending what those things are. You can actually partner with AvePoint, of course. You can partner with other service-based partners out there to meet those customers' needs. That's what this is about. I'll tell you that the people that are members that are active within IAMCP are super connectors. They are people who are focused on what opportunities are out there. How can we better work together to solve these customer needs? And so that's a lot of what happens within these chapter groups is we're finding these opportunities, we're discussing openly what our needs are and helping each other.
You know, I feel like folks are inundated with join my group, really what makes them different. So, Christian, I'm going to challenge you. How have you found any personal success with these kind of meeting groups in these different chapters?
That's a great question. Here's a great example of this. So I was approached by a salesperson in the Seattle chapter who was with a leading competitor. So here's somebody who I wouldn't say that it was a confrontational relationship, but somebody we kind of stayed away from each other. Initially, we got to be friends through this activity. Yeah, frenemies there. Co-opetition. But she approached and said, hey, look, we have a customer. We've solved this need, but this other area that they also need, like we don't have a product for that. We know that your company does. Could we partner here? And so this was something where like I went and made sure that my salespeople, as I brought them in, I said, look, this is not our customer. This is their customer. We're being brought in, but here's this opportunity where we made tens of thousands of dollars on this deal, but we established that we respected the nature of the lead of this opportunity, and we were grateful to have the opportunity for the half of the sale that we had. So that's something that only would have happened because of the relationship and the respect that we had that was built through this partner-to-partner network of IAMCP.
Yeah, I really feel like these groups, you get in what you take out. One of the biggest, I remember when I was just getting started in my career, I joined one of these groups. I've actually attended myself many IAMCP meetings, and we went to a conference in one of these groups, and I went with a group, and I was one of the younger ones there, so I was a little bit nervous. And one of my mentors at the time, he strictly required that I sit across the table from him and not next to him. because what it did was it forced you to engage and interact, and you have to introduce yourself and talk and learn who these other people are. And really, if you take the time to engage, you will find opportunities, just like you mentioned. So, IMCP, it sounds like a great way for partners to make new connections and extend their own reach. How do people get started?
Well, the first thing you just do is you go to the website, so IAMCP.org. There's a small annual membership fee. It's for the individual. There is no company-wide membership. So you can't say like, oh, hey, AvePoint's a member. Like, no, there are individuals within AvePoint that are members. And then you can, once you're a member, you can then associate with the regional chapter. If there is no chapter within your region, there is a huge online chapter, and I participate in my local chapter as well as the online chapter. Once you're a member, you have your profile, you fill that out. My first step, my recommendation is always then to go in, look for other people within your company. I look for other partners that I know are partners, and I connect with them so they're connected through my profile, so we can start having those conversations. And then as I start to go into areas, I even post out to boards or have in chapter meetings and say, hey, is anybody working with this customer that we're trying to get access to, or we're trying to learn more about, or we have this new customer we're looking for help on? I start having those conversations and making connections. So it's plug in, register, sign up, start utilizing that, and then attend those online or in-person sessions and start building your network. That's what it's all about.
There you go. Well, thank you so much for the overview, Christian. As always, if you want to find out more about AvePoint's partner program, visit us at avepoint.com/partners.